Hi guys, Daryl Addison at torpedopot.com, Daryl Addison at torpedopot.com, and these are our self-growing planters. For those who've been with us, you've seen us hook them up, run the water, attach it to the manifold in the timer, and carve out this first zone here. Since then, I think it's what, 30, I feel like it's 40 something degrees today. It was freezing yesterday, but I see a little break. And so I'm going to put in my cool weather plants. I'm going to throw a number of them in these planters so we can see them grow together. Cool weather plants, okay? And I'm going to go through that in the future. So I want to let you know, this was a lot of work. All right, now listen very carefully. I had to fill these planters up with soil. I had to go down and get this barrel and shovel them up and fill them up. Or for those who have bags, you got to buy the bags and pour them into there. But I want to let you know, for those who are doing it every year, you only have to do it like once in 5 years. Remember now, the soil gets used up as fertilizer for the plant. So one goes down and new plants come up. So the work that I just did, we're going to walk over some of the planters that have been used up for 2 years. And the soil is still in that planter. All we do is add maybe a little shovel of soil or something on top of it. Remember now, your soil is the engine for your planter. For those, I know I said I recommend mushroom soil, and I do. Mushroom soil has a wide variety of fungal content for the plant to choose from. But any soil could be used in your torpedo pot. Any soil, listen to me now. Any soil could be used. But I highly recommend, I don't like using the word organic because biotic is the real word. Organic is a man-made term. But in your biotic environment, I recommend something that has a little bark that the plants can reach in and grab it and tear it apart for the fungal to go down and to make that connection. I want you to get the right soil. With that being said, I've set these up here, and now we're going to put some seeds. I'm going to move this because you know what? Next year, I won't have to worry about this anymore. As a matter of fact, let me show you some of the other planters that already have soil inside of it. I did not have to fill this up. And I had my dill in here. The lettuce was in another pot. But the dill was in here, and it grew extremely tall. And I don't have to add anything to it. But I will top it off. And I had it running already. And likewise, these planters. These strawberries and the dill and the fennel and all that have been growing in this planter. Look at the height of the soil. And look at the texture of that soil. I want you to see what that soil looks like, okay? Look at that soil. Now look at this. Look at the texture of this soil. Look at that texture. Look how big pieces they are. Sort of like ill-defined. And now that they've broken themselves down, they're very well defined. And the plant can find it so the soil is not compact, it's not hard. And the soil is, oh my God, it's unbelievable. To buy this in the store would be very expensive. This right here, we had cucumbers in this planter, and you can look at the soil. It's still the height of what it is. So you're not adding a lot of soil. You do it once, get yourself together, and then. So what I want to show you today is this. We're going to do something fantastic. So when I tell you that in history we use shovel, spade, and trowels, I'm going to get rid of mine for now, okay? Bye-bye. We won't need you until maybe another 2 years. Okay, with that being said, I need to put plants in these torpedo pots, cool weather plants. I've got green lettuce here. I've got winter density lettuce here. I've got butterscotch lettuce that I can put in these plants. And you know what I'm going to do? I love the yellowish green color of lettuce. My friend in his torpedo pot put lettuce, and it's lasted him all year long. It has been growing. I haven't taken a look at it, but once the roots are established in the torpedo pot, that's where the plant is. And if that root system doesn't die, your plant will come back. So I got green lettuce, winter density lettuce, and I'm going to put them in these planters here. All right, so let's put this over here, lettuce. Okay, let's move forward. Now, looking at these planters, I want you to grasp the fact that now you can grow anything and everything you want at any time you want it. So this early in the season, you're not going to do your tomatoes. I mean, you have your Siberian tomatoes you can grow in the cold weather, but you're not going to do your tomatoes, the peppers and all this stuff because you're waiting for all that heat that's going to come later on in the season. So what I want you to do with your early vegetables, I got something for you. I got something and I think you're going to love it. I got a lot of things for you, but I want you to see this. I told you about this, and you know how I feel about this. I'm going to grow peas. And I'm going to put them in the pot because these are my early plants that are going to take off. Early plants that are going to take off. I'm going to do the lettuce that we talked about. I'm also going to do the spinach. I have what is called a giant noble spinach that grows really long. Now, I want you to plan, okay? When I put these plants in here, I'm not putting them in here because this is the end of my gardening experience. I've got sets of about 100 planters all over my house that run at their own intervals. And they produce food. So don't look at this as your end crop. What you started your season with, you might not end with, okay? So this is what we're going to do, and you'll probably walk through it. I want to show you this dirt filling process, but it was too laborious and I could not hold the camera. And I finally got myself together to do it. So what we done is this. Come here, take a look. All of the feeding sticks now that were once standing up are now laying down. We've actually took the feeding sticks and buried them into the soil, okay? What we're going to do where that feeding stick is, we're going to drop seeds all around that. We're going to cover it back up, and then we're going to add more soil. And you don't have to worry about, now, let me just say one more thing. Once we fill this up to the feeding stick, I press my soil down to create a firmness, okay? That creates a barrier for the water. When all this is fluff, it goes down and hits that barrier, and that will soak your seeds before it starts to settle itself on through, okay? Just a little firmness, not a lot, just a little firmness. And it will open itself up. So I wanted to get that because we're going to do our snow peas, we're going to do our lettuce, and I wanted to show you one last thing. This is the planter that we have not put the feeding stick down, and we could do this together. I should have gloves, and so my wife will yell at me, and I know I should have myself. You should always wear your gloves. The microbes that are in this soil are not the same that are in your stomach. These microbes give rise to higher life, okay? So the food that we're getting from this, and we came from the soil, so they give rise to a higher form of life, which is us. So appreciate it and love it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bury it, this feeding stick, into the soil. Let's carve it out. This is really great soil. Oh, I'm so happy that I have this. Yeah, my grower has the mushroom soil, and I'll just simply bury it and put it over. Now, when your water comes out of the feeding stick, I don't want you to think that all water goes down. When water comes out of your hose and runs to your timer, from your spigot to your timer, down through your torpedo pot, and it goes through the feeding stick, we're used to pouring water out of a glass and water goes down. It doesn't really go up, does it? Well, in a torpedo pot, water has a surface tension that once it starts to saturate something, it pulls itself up. So you don't have to bury the seeds below the feeding stick. Put them above the feeding stick. You want those roots to go down, and you want those seeds to germinate 2 inches, 3 inches, depending upon what you're growing above the feeding stick. So you get an opportunity to adjust what and how you're growing. When you're growing plants instead of seeds, you're going to put those plants in the middle of your ring. If it can fit in the middle of your ring, you're doing great. If you really want to take your ring off and make it fit, you do that. But put it in the middle of your ring, because this is where the depth is right here. And then once you cover it up, you add more soil to top everything off, and you walk away. That soil will be converted over to food for the plant, that soil, that water, and that soil combination will start to harvest life in your torpedo pot. so they can produce food for you. And one last note. I always tell my friends, and I want you to grasp this moment. I'm going to say one little small proverb when we get together. Can you put your hand on your head and stop yourself from growing? When you were 13 and the age you are now, could someone put their hand on your head and stop you from growing? Of course not. So you grow naturally, correct? I want you to learn to stop growing your plants. They know how to grow. They grow just like you do. They know how to grow. Don't grow them. Let them grow themselves. Darrell Addison, torpedopot.com. Darrell, torpedopot.com. Thank you so much.